Ever wondered how much safer your work at height operations could be? Imagine a world where every potential hazard is detected before it becomes a problem. Meet Tracker AI's smart PTZ camera system. This isn't just any camera, it's a game changer in work at height safety. Safety is paramount, right? It's the foundation of a productive and happy workforce. Despite stringent regulations, accidents still happen. Traditional methods often fall short in preventing these incidents. Enter Tracker AI's smart PTZ. This advanced system is designed to fill the gaps left by outdated safety measures. Tracker smart PTZ cameras deliver unmatched oversight so you can spot hazards before they become accidents. Offering 24/7 monitoring, it detects work at height safety hazards instantly, no matter the time of day or night. Think about it. Real-time monitoring, automated alerts and even fall detection. It's like having a safety manager who never blinks. Real-time alerts trigger immediate action, ensuring that potential dangers are addressed before they escalate. Automated surveillance significantly reduces human error, making your work site safer and more efficient. It even detects PPE and welding work compliance, ensuring that all workers are properly equipped. Ensure every worker goes home safe. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Ready to elevate safety? Stay safe, stay smart. With Tracker AI, you're not just upgrading your equipment, you're upgrading your entire safety culture. The Tracker Smart PTZ camera features advanced AI algorithms that are constantly learning and adapting to new safety challenges. With 360-degree rotation and high-definition video, it covers every angle, leaving no blind spots. You can decide which areas to cover, what to detect in each area through a simple online procedure without ever leaving your seat. Through the setup, you can monitor what is happening on the ground in real time remotely. In a recent case study, a manufacturing plant reduced accidents by 40% after implementing our system. Features include night vision, advanced monitoring for PPEs, work at height and welding activities, including real-time analytics, making it a comprehensive safety solution. Our team of experts ensures the highest quality and reliability, constantly innovating to meet your safety needs. Plus, our dedicated support team is here to assist you 24/7, ensuring that you get the most out of your investment. Join the revolution in safety with Tracker AI's smart PTZ camera system. It's time to take your safety measures to the next level. Visit tracker.live to learn more and get started today. Together, we can create a safer, smarter future for everyone.
Welcome to another episode of Hackla Podcast, where we dive deep into the world of safety, sustainability, and innovation. Today, we have a very special guest, Mr. Jacob Suraj, a global award winning EHS consultant and a seasoned expert in health, safety, and environmental management. Jacob brings over 12 years of experience in the maritime and shipping industry, having worked with Fortune 500 companies including Maersk Line, and conducted extensive training for organizations such as IOCL and LNT. In this episode, we'll explore the evolving landscape of maritime safety in India, its current state and the challenges it faces, and the future innovation that are shaping the industry. Jacob, with his wealth of experience and global perspective, will provide us with valuable insights into the future of maritime safety and how India is positioning itself in this crucial sector. So let's get started. Thank you, Jacob, for giving us your time.
Yeah, hello, Amber, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to be part of this podcast.
Nice to meet you. So let's get started.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, you have had an extensive career in the maritime industry. Can you tell us about your journey and how you became so passionate about maritime safety?
Right. So around 2007 is when I started the journey into this career of maritime sector. And I always had an inclination to aviation and maritime, some things which are very dynamic sectors. So and then fast forward many years being out at sea, uh, I started realizing that there is something called a safety culture even before I formally learned the concept of safety culture. Because every time I sailed on a different ship belonging to a different flag, I could see a stark difference. uh, for example, like the Denmark flag, which is one of the main flags of the Musk company,
Mhm.
uh, whereas it also has a Singapore flag. So uh, the style of managing things in the same company was very different. And this surprised me, but it's the same company. How can it be so different? So
Right.
that's when I realized there is a potential gap with respect to safety culture, and there's a lot more things that we can improve on that front.
I see. That's something very interesting. That different, I don't know, geographical location and different type of safety procedures under the same company.
Yeah, the way people uh, follow it, or the mentality towards it varies a lot.
See, interesting. Jacob, what are the key safety challenges currently being faced by the maritime industry in India, and how do these challenges compare to other regions?
Right. So speaking of India, now we don't yet have a lot of private players in the shipping sector. That is one challenge. Traditionally, it is the Shipping Corporation of India and Dredging Corporation of India. Both are government owned. So we're talking about an Air India scenario, where uh, a government run enterprise has a lot of limitations with respect to uh, the management, and how fast they can adapt with the
Right,
technology. So that's one gap I feel. We need a lot more private players to come in and really compete in this sector to game up their safety as well. uh, Now, the existing fleet of the Shipping Corporation of India, uh, it's still on the older side. In fact, you can witness it yourself if you go to a coastal town like Mumbai, Cochin, or you can see the Indian flag vessels are have more rust, a lot of rust on it, unfortunately. So that needs to change as well, right? We need that maintenance, planned preventive maintenance focused operations, and to enlarge the life cycle and all that, right? So uh, yeah, so I would say, in my experience dealing with Indian counterparts, there has been a reactive approach more than a proactive approach. You wait for something really bad to happen, and then you think, okay, what was the problem? So that's probably the biggest gap, I think.
I see. I see. This is very interesting point that we do not have private players right now in this industry.
Yeah, very, very limited. There are smaller companies, but they aren't in a position to, be the major. Unlike in other countries where, like Maersk Line, for example, Mediterranean Shipping Company, MSC, none of these are government owned. They are all private companies, and they've been given that, the market competition. So you have to prove yourself to be there, and that includes safety improvements as well.
Right. And Jacob, these days there's a lot being said about the Chinese. They are building ships at a record number. So, do you think they also have some big players in the market?
Yeah, they have a lot of huge players. In fact, like Costco is one of those companies, and One High, the accident that happened a few weeks back. So
Yes.
they have been into shipbuilding since at least 40 years. Uh, like in 2008, I've been to a shipyard in China, uh, and I remember seeing. I was shocked, the first time I was there. Like, are these human beings or robots? That was the impression that you get. Like, the operations are so organized and way back. So I think we are yet to get there, or we are getting there slowly, but
Yeah.
there's still a long gap to fill
Right.
in.
Right. I agree with you. So India right now is rapidly expanding its role in global shipping. What improvements do you think are necessary to elevate the country's maritime safety standards to an international level?
Right. So the government has been doing a lot. In fact, in terms of modernizing the fleet or modernizing the technology. So, for example, in Kochi, there is a water metro project, which has been running since a couple of years. So these passenger boats are completely electric, and some of them are hybrid. So these are technology that even a lot of developed countries haven't got there yet. They are still having traditional diesel fuel boats. So it's safer and environment friendly as well. That is also a big concern, right? The pollution, air pollution levels. So I think a lot is being done already, but still there's a lot more. Like, for example, emission control area. So we have something called ECAs, emission control areas, and currently India doesn't have any ECAs, right, on the other side of the coast. But European countries, a lot of them, they have these zones. So which means the ships who sail there, they are forced to switch to a fuel that is more eco-friendly,
Correct.
like ultra low sulfur. You cannot use a normal high sulfur fuel or a normal diesel oil. So the companies are forced to switch to a cleaner fuel, and that automatically improves the safety, because safety and the environmental aspects as well. Right? So
Makes sense. So, Jacob, I was just thinking, like, can you, for my knowledge, share like which are some of the biggest ports in India?
right. Well, now it's changing a lot. In fact, traditionally, if you look, the biggest multi-purpose ports were Mumbai, of course, and then you have Kandla in Gujarat and Kolkata. Uh, so these are the core, and Chennai as well. But
Mhm.
now things have been, especially in the container sector, because we have Vizhinjam port, which has come, like the last 2 years. So there is a lot of scope in transshipment sector. I mean, countries like Singapore, for example, they, in fact, they made their empire just using container transshipment. So that is the potential of the, you know, I mean, they're such a small country, right? So there's hardly anything that they're exporting. There's very less, like less than 5% of export cargo, but 95%, that's massive volumes of transshipment cargo. And you just drop it there, someone else picks it up. And that's enough.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good business already.
I see. So I lived in Singapore for 5 years,
Okay.
and everyone tells me that Singapore makes money from shipping.
Yes.
So I never understood like what is the business model. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, people put their stuff and they take money
Someone
for
else.
that.
Yes.
They earn
The
money in that thing.
Exactly. They earn money for the berthing charges, for storing the container for like few hours, maybe, a few days, until the next ship comes and picks it up to a different route. So
I understand. So that is the business
that's
and
that's a big business. Yeah.
big
'Cause
business and
the
yeah,
location is also very prominent, right? I mean, Singapore is located between China and US. So, one route goes to the European regions and another route to the Middle East. So it's the junction where the route splits into two.
right, right. And it always said that Strait of Malacca is one of the major choke points
Hub.
in the world maritime industry.
Exactly, exactly. There's a lot of heavy traffic, and I mean, like 10, 8, 9 hours it takes to cross the entire strait, and then you are on high alert because you go a little bit to the left, you touch bottom,
Okay,
and you have so much of vessel traffic. You have to maneuver very carefully.
I see. So this is like similar thing in Panama Canal area, Suez
Similar,
Canal.
exactly the same story. Very similar to that. Better than that. I mean, that is much more narrower. So Malacca is better, better off.
Right there. So moving forward, how have global maritime safety standards, like those set by the IMO, influenced India's approach to safety regulations? And are there any difference or similarities you have noticed?
Right. So India has always been, on paper, we have always been liaised with all the directives of whether it is IMO or ILO. We have been always signing the agreements, but the problem is at the ground level implementation. So I'll give you an example. There was a convention called MLC, Maritime Labor Convention, that is specific for the seafarers, people who work out at sea, uh, which talks about the rest hour violations. How much can you work in a day? What is the maximum continuous break or working duration that you should have? But I see that a lot of this gets broken, and the let's say the mid-level management, they sometimes encourage people to misreport. They say it's okay, you can just put it as 8 hours, but you're actually working 12 hours. So this culture is the biggest problem. Even though on paper we have all the rules in place, the ground level mentality, it's okay to twist, it's okay to just fill up the form and then that's it.
Right. So immediately it might not lead to anything, but over a period of time it can lead to an incident.
Absolutely. It's a very accumulating, and I have experienced all this firsthand as well, while at sea. Like you will feel that fatigue, there's a lack of sleep that is developing over the weeks. And then when you navigate, you can't focus, you won't be as uh, prompt or as quick in that split second decision making, which can have an impact on the safety.
Okay, so what role does training and certification like NEBOSH, IOSH play in improving safety practices in the maritime industry? And how can Indian companies ensure their workforce is properly trained?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question, that especially that currently I am into NEBOSH training in particular. So I feel all companies, Indian or abroad, they should adapt NEBOSH training or similar kind of training to their roster cycle for all the officers, because it teaches you about how to manage safety, not in a technical point of view, but rather in a cultural point of view, rather on a management side of it. But currently in the sector, safety is still seen as a technical subject. So you learn about how the fire pressure should be, or how the CO2 systems, how the sensors should work, at what pressure should it release, which is all important, of course. But that is a visible part of safety, right? But that's not it. The invisible part is the culture, is the safety climate, and how confident people feel to raise issues without getting blamed for that. So this is the tough part which needs training like Nabosh. And yeah, I hope companies in the sector also adapt to that. They understand this requirement and fill that gap.
Right. Jacob, how does this training happen? Like, is it for a week or uh, for 2 days, full day training? What kind of procedure does this network training has?
Yeah, so there are different levels of the, NEBOSH is a examination board based out of the UK. So they have like multiple levels of training. The most common training is a level 3 training called as the International General Certificate. This is about a 1 month training. So 1 month as in if you take like 4 hours a day, 4 days a week, then it takes about a month to complete.
And I'm sure after that you need to pass an exam or something.
Exactly. Yes. After that, there's an exam and a risk assessment that you need to do. And the exam isn't like a traditional exam where you memorize something. You memorize what is the unit of this or what is the value of that. That is very irrelevant in today's world, right? It's a scenario-based exam, so you get a realistic storyline. Could be a warehouse, could be a chemical factory, and you need to apply what where the failures, what could be the corrective actions. So that's a very hands-on experience that you get.
Understood. Okay, so what are some of the biggest gaps in the maritime safety management that need to be addressed in India, especially in the context of growing shipping and logistics sector?
Right. So in my personal interactions that I have come across, a lot of companies in India still have a very traditional safety management system. There are Excel sheets, and I mean, gone are those days. Excel sheet is not a thing anymore, right? So we need to have AI enabled, app based or software based programs where it is interconnected, uh, centrally connected with the head office, and uh, like you can report incidents at on the spot. So some companies have it. International companies have these kind of management systems, but Indian companies still have more improvements that need to be made to have a more user friendly and holistic management system. So that's
Right.
something we need. Yeah.
I understand. So, technology, like we all know, is increasingly becoming a game changer in many industries. How do you see technologies like AI, IoT, and automation impacting the maritime safety in India? And are there any innovation you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, well, one of the recent things was the Starlink installation that is happening on the fleet. Because I still remember, when I joined shipping sector, you could only send an email. That's it. There was no YouTube or something you could watch. The bandwidth would be so low because you need a direct satellite internet, and that wasn't a thing back in those days. So now things have changed, and most of the ships uh, in Maersk, for example, have Starlink fitted, which makes it so easy to conduct, remote audits, even training that can be done online because you have high-speed broadband. So it changes a lot. Not just on a connectivity point of view, but also for monitoring the cargo. So, for example, uh, like containers, especially refrigerated containers, where the food is taken, uh, and these come with a chip inside the container, which is monitoring the temperature, the humidity, the all the parameters, and this is transmitted through the satellite back to the shipper, the exporter, through an app. So that's also a type of, it's operation, but safety as well in a way, because the how safe is your cargo out there in the middle of the ocean.
So they are very much informed, kept informed for the whole journey, how things are
Absolutely,
going.
absolutely.
In your opinion, what steps should Indian maritime companies take to ensure that their operations align with global safety and environmental standards like ISO 45001 and ISO 14000?
Yeah. So these things are happening slowly. These things are happening. Is already the changes are happening, and some have been designated to be green ports. So green ports, we provide the electricity from the shore to the ship. Like you switch off your generators on the ship, so you don't have the black smoke coming out from the funnel when the ship is in the port, and that makes a huge difference because all that smoke otherwise is going to come to the city, increase the AQI of the port. So things like that are on in the pipeline, and yeah, we let's hope that more such things happen, to align ourselves with the international standards. And one more example I can give you is uh, the terminal safety at the port. So in Rotterdam, in the Netherlands, like I don't know, like 10 years, 15 years back, they had fully unmanned trucks and fully unmanned gantry cranes, which was just a marvel to your eyes. You see trucks without cabins, just going around and without colliding each other. And yeah, cranes without crane operators, everything getting stacked, just computerized and AI based. So uh, it makes a big deal, right? Like there's no human injuries anymore because there aren't any people around to,
Yes,
you know so yeah, that's something which, let's hope, comes into other countries as well.
yeah,
I mean, you need investment, that has that.
right. So I was also thinking about the recent. I was reading some article that China has now fully autonomous docking yards, and like you mentioned, they don't need
Right,
humans
right.
anymore. All the machines are carrying out
Absolutely.
all the operations.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even in fact, berthing a ship is a very dangerous operation. In fact, a lot of people have died. People who are on the shore, like there are ropes. Traditionally, there are ropes that are passed
Right, right,
from the ship, and you put the rope on the hook, and that rope has like a ton of tension on it. One
right,
snap, and that's it. You can be cut
right, right.
into two. So now there are ports, for example, Salalah, port of Salalah in Oman
Mhm,
is one of the first to do that.
mhm.
So they have a magnetic suction
Okay,
uh, on the fenders, magnetic suction fenders. So the ship comes alongside, and then ship is a metal, right? So the magnets activate electrically,
right.
and that's it. That will keep the ship on the
Entire road.
place. Like you don't need ropes anymore.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So my point was that India has a lot to learn from. It's not from one country. You can take this good practice from Oman, that good practice from Netherlands, and make a concoction of all that, and then
True.
bring that into.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I agree with you. And I think we have a lot of scope right now. We are developing very fast, and we do have a lot of scope in India to implement
Absolutely.
the best practices in the industry.
Absolutely, totally. Yeah. In fact, when I personally visited the port of Mundra, in Gujarat, I could see that they have done it better than the Mumbai port, for example. Mumbai port is a government-run, more traditional port. So
Right.
the stevedores are like walking in chapel. I was shocked. Like this, that's the basics of safety. At least have the basic PPE, but even that didn't happen. But then
Right.
in Gujarat, things were much better. It was more
Mm,
industrialized. So, yeah. So that's the track to be followed, I guess.
right. Right. Jacob, how do you see the future of maritime safety in India over the next 5 to 10 years? What significant changes do you expect to take place in terms of regulations, technology, and industry practices?
Yeah. So we are definitely on the right track. Comparing to the past, there has been like the hybrid fuel concept that I spoke about, and green ports where the electricity is already available for the ship ready, and uh, yeah. So what else? Yeah, using more pipelines as well. We have LNG ports being set up, so more reliance on the pipeline-based transport, avoiding the road transport of the
Right.
gases. So all this is there, and we're slowly getting there. But I feel the technology side is okay; it's on the right path. But what we need more focus on is the cultural aspect, because if that doesn't change, even with
Yeah.
the topmost technology, you can still cause a disaster. Because if the mindset doesn't change, uh, like if you find something risky, say no. That confidence should be there on every single person on the feet. Like if it's unsafe, don't do it. Like don't take a chance.
Right. Understand. Jacob, I was thinking about merchant navy, right? So,
Right.
this comes all under part of merchant navy.
That's correct. That's correct.
That's
Yes.
correct. Can you share with our viewers that what is a day like in the life of a person
A merchant
in?
mariner. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, so it depends, where you're on a port or at sea. At sea,
Yeah.
it's pretty relaxing, not very stressful because you have the entire ocean, and you're not that hectic. But things get busy when you are in coastal waters like Malacca Strait, for example, or Suez Canal. That's when you have to like control like so many systems, but at the same time, you have your navigation systems, your radio communication, then your
Mm,
ballast systems for stability. So all these things go in your brain at the same time, which is in fact very uh, uh, thrilling, I would say. Like if you enjoy that kind of like split second decision making, navigating around like heavy traffic, and uh, that's something that gives adrenaline,
right.
in a way. Yeah, yeah.
I see.
And yeah. But if you're in port, it's a different ball game because you are liaising with the cargo people. You have loading, unloading, then you have this dangerous cargo. For example, the Van High ship that caught fire like a few weeks back. Uh, that's a typical issue that happens when the segregation of dangerous cargo goes for a toss. Yeah. So uh, like we have explosives, flammable liquids, and oxidizing substances. So we can't keep these containers together. There has to be a separation. And if there's a misdeclaration, then that's it. Boom, which is what happened.
Oh, so in today's time also, like, these accidents happen because of some mismanagement.
Exactly. These accidents do happen because there are so many parties involved, right? You have the cargo planners and you have the crane operators. So if one link there's a mistake in the positioning, uh, that's enough to break the chain.
I understand. Very interesting. Also, like, Jacob, when there is
Mhm.
like tornadoes in the ocean, we see
Yeah,
videos. So
right.
how do you feel?
Yeah, well, if you ask me personally, like uh, I never felt scared because I don't know, but I just wanted. I had only one wish that the containers should not fall during
Okay,
my duty. I don't know what happens after my watch, but at least during that time, we don't want containers to be washed out because then that's a documentation you need to create all that insurance and paperwork, and then the container will reach some coast, and then
okay.
all that mess.
So, like, on the ship, if a container is lost, you can't bring
Do
it back.
anything. No
Okay,
way. There's it's gone forever. So
I see.
yeah, and that happens, especially in South China Sea is one of the most dangerous seas. Then there's Bay of Biscay near France.
Okay,
These are the worst, like two worst regions where you have very high chances of huge waves. And yeah, but thanks to technology, like nowadays we have live updates about the weather from the satellite. So like I still remember, like 10 years back, we used to get 6 hourly updates. So you don't know what changes, in that 6 hour. All of a sudden, you put refresh the weather data, and then it's like, oh, where is the storm now? It's gone somewhere
right.
else, like unpredictable. So right now we have more real-time tracking of the eye of the storm, and so we can predict. So we reroute accordingly, like constantly. Uh, the route is being adjusted, and that way you stay away from the uh, eye of the storm. So that's one method. And yeah, there are many such methods. You do zigzag, so you can't go in a straight line. So you have to go like zigzag to
I understand.
cut down the effect.
Right. So finally, for aspiring HSC professionals looking to work in the maritime industry, what advice would you give to help them build a successful career and contribute to improving safety in the sector?
Yeah. So I would suggest that get the concept of the culture right, because that is the foundation of everything. Once the thought process is correct, then irrespective of which sector you are, you could be in maritime, you could be in aviation, it doesn't matter because then it's just the technical side, which
Right,
you can learn it up. But the core foundation of safety should always be the it's like saying the soul of a human body. Like you can fix the physical injuries from a doctor, you can put a bandage, but your soul, to heal that something only you can probably do it. That's internal.
right,
So yeah, focus on the inside, focus on the invisible part of safety. That would be my advice.
right, right. I agree with you because culture is something which everyone has to be aware of and be ready to apply it. Right,
Okay.
we cannot force that on people.
Yeah, yeah. That self-regulation concept should be there. Like we can have ILO, we can have government audits, but uh, if the auditor goes and after a few days you get back to your regular routine of cutting corners, then there's no point doing it.
Right, makes sense. So thank you, Jacob. That was a fascinating conversation about the future of maritime safety in India. We have explored the challenges, emerging technologies, and the incredible potential India holds in becoming a global leader in maritime safety. Jacob, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights with us today. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to Hack Club Podcast and leave us a rating. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more valuable content. We hope this discussion has sparked new ideas and perspective on the future of maritime safety. Until next time, stay safe and continue navigating the seas of knowledge. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah, thank you to you too, Mr. Amber, and great initiative by conducting these podcasts and spreading the message of safety to the public. So, well done, and thank you to
Thank you. Thank you. Very nice to have you.